someone made a comment to me that they're in a higher state consciously, but their body is not reflecting that right now. And, they're not happy with where their body's at and they want to get to a fruit diet eventually. And how do they get there? So I wanted to articulate my approach of what I would do and kind of go from there. And I want to give a disclaimer, like if you're still in the conscious state where you believe in like the medical industry, then this is gonna not resonate with you, because to be able to make the transition, you have to recognize that this world is an illusion, and you have to be very open-minded and not have any attachment to any belief system that you've ever experienced in your life, and go into it with that. To prepare the mind, I highly recommend looking at Man's Higher Consciousness with Hilton Otima, Dr. Robert Morse's book, and Arnold Everett's Mucusless Diet. These will help set the stage to understand that there's more to life than what people have been told from a belief system standpoint. Now, there are different emotions attached to density. And so your body naturally knows how to heal itself. When you just remove the poison of the consumption that you've been doing, the body will heal. You don't actually have to do anything. But it's a mental battle and an emotional battle. And so you have to go into it prepared that these are going to come up and not falter. And because think of it this way. When you're going up to a new field, right, you are taking in more light in your body. You cannot get there until you understand why your behavior was bad. And so all of the emotions that come up during the detox process are emotions that you have to face and overcome with forgiveness and understanding before you hold that higher light. And that is what is happening. And unfortunately, society is like so brainwashed where they're like, oh, I fasted today, I'm doing a cleanse. But then they just go back to the same bad habits that they had before without consciously grasping, well, why did I have to cleanse my body in the first place? Because my behavior was toxic. And then, we have this medical industry and everyone's on Instagram and just TikTok complaining about their problems, not taking a look at themselves and starting to question, wait, am I the problem? And I'm not judging anyone, because I used to be like this too. I suffered greatly my whole life, and I didn't believe the doctors, but no one just ever looked me in the eye and was like, oh wait, you're the problem. Like your body is responding and is toxic because you keep putting poisons in it. So going on the journey of the transitional state, you have to be mentally ready to take accountability for your life and your actions. If you're not ready, then this is going to be, you won't make it. You will resort back to your bad behavior and you will keep going back and forth until you're ready to make that change. So the first thing is mental. The second thing is like immediately what I would completely remove that has one of the lowest densities is anything with animal products like meat, dairy, eggs, processed food. Like these have some of the worst energetic attachments associated with them, that once you immediately remove those from your field, you're going to slowly start to feel better. This will remove like consciousness and attachments, and you will actually feel and see it in your mind, and it's going to trip you out. And it's basically leaving your vessel. And then what will happen is you'll probably experiment with some cooked, like, people go down the rabbit hole of like beans and lentils and grains and things like that. But what you'll find is beans cause gas and can distend your abdomen. Grains can cause stickiness in the body and sluggish feeling. And so do potatoes, because they're very starchy. So you have to look at things like when they're broken down in the body, it creates like a mucus forming thing. So you might go down that path. It's your body might take you there, but you're slowly going to be letting go of the density. And so the goal is to incorporate as much fruit in your diet as possible. In the past, I really didn't eat a lot of fruit. And so to me, figuring out like what fruit I liked, it was like a whole new journey for me. Like I started to figure out when certain fruits were ripe. I made mistakes like where I cut fruit before it was ripe, and or I waited until it was too ripe. And your body is so intelligent. It will tell you what to eat. And like if the fruit is not ripe or if it's too ripe, your body's going to tell you not to eat it. So throw it away, because that means you shouldn't be eating that fruit either. Another thing, and Robert Morse talks about this, and I think Arnold Everett talks about it too, is like food combinations are very real. Like you don't want to combo like sweet fruits like dates and bananas with very acidic fruits, right? Like with grapes and lychees or something like that, because they're processed differently in the body and they have different effects. And so it's really good to actually space out what fruits you combine. If you're going to fruit combine, make sure you do it with fruits that are very similar in terms of what they have an effect on the body. So what will happen over time is your spirit is going to guide you, aka your body, and you'll start to hear your body more. You're going to start to develop a new relationship with your body and understand that your body knows exactly what it needs and it's going to tell you. And you don't need to freak out about it. You don't need to have these futuristic expectations with yourself. Look at it as you make the transition to a better lifestyle and a better conscious state, that this is a journey where you're finally getting to know your body. And it's really beautiful because you're choosing to do it before you've gotten cancer or autoimmune, or maybe you've already gotten cancer and autoimmune and you're like, you know what, this doesn't feel right to me. The medicine community doesn't feel like, pharmaceuticals, like all of this stuff doesn't feel right. When I was younger, I worked in a hospital in the ER for over a year at both a public and a private hospital. And I saw so many things. And I remember I started to feel really unemotional, and I didn't like that because I'm a very empathetic person. And I remember just having this awareness where I'm like, this is wrong. Like, this doesn't feel right to me. Like, something is off. This whole responding to all of these horrible things that people are going through, it didn't feel right to me because it didn't feel like God really wanted this. And so it pushed me to go seek a better path, that there had to be answers, because I truly don't believe God wants us to suffer. I think we create our own suffering. And so when you change your perspective to a state where you're saying, I don't believe God wants me to suffer, you've now changed your antenna to receive higher truth from God that will naturally heal you. So I'm just planting seeds, but do not necessarily go off of everything I'm saying. Go off of what your spirit is telling you need to get you to a better state with your body. And you will know exactly what you need to do as you change that. And your body is going, like your spirit is going to start talking to you. And you have to just be open to taking action without thinking too much, and instead act first, think after, and try that out and see what happens. Another thing too is that I think it's really important to incorporate movement that you enjoy in your journey, because when you're doing movement, you put yourself in a very vulnerable state, and you can consciously talk to yourself and reprogram your subconscious mind to align with the state that you know you are. And I also think it's really good to buy cute workout clothes or comfy workout clothes that make you feel good when you're working out. If you associate working out with like as a chore or a negative, you're applying like a negative energy to it, that is not good. That's not the highest path, because you're not really recognizing the joy of movement and breath, and you're forcing something that shouldn't be forced.